Elias,
Oh, hello.
you guys set the tone for tonight with what could arguably be a fight of the night contender. What was it like out there in front of that Liverpool crowd? You guys went to war.
Yeah, no, it's always great with coming out to a great crowd. Gets you excited. Obviously, being the first fight, I get to kind of proclaim my moniker. Obviously, I'm the Spartan, but I'm also the main event, trademark included. So it doesn't matter whether I'm the top of the card or the bottom of the card, the main event.
Looks like you have a few stitches there.
Well, chicks dig scars, and luckily so does my girlfriend. Collectively, I have about 100. I think with this one, I have 100 stitches on my face.
How many was it tonight?
I think they doubled it up, so 10.
And that was from the clash of heads, obviously.
Yeah, he had read it.
Were you worried about the cut perhaps stopping the fight?
No, I could feel that it was above my head, so I knew it wasn't near my eye. It's always a little bit of a shock when there's some blood, and sometimes you kind of think like a little bit too much, or you kind of react rather than respond rather than react rather. And I think a couple of takedowns that I kind of responded to rather than taking in. And in the second fight, the second round, there was either a punch or some type of poke in the eye that kind of made it a little fuzzy on the right side. So, I think I did enough to win every single round. But the second round, it was a little closer, and part of that is, again, I was responding rather than reacting to myself.
Going into the fight, you both were coming off about 4 or so decision fights. Were you expecting it to be a hard-fought 3 rounds?
Oh, for sure. He's a D1 wrestler. He has that basis of an athlete and someone that has a pedigree that I don't have. I've been a professional mixed martial artist since 2011, but I only started martial arts in any capacity in 2009. So I'm playing catch up. For instance, the last 2 opponents I fought, whether it's Trevor Smith, who's been competing longer than I've been probably on this earth. Same thing with Dan Kelly. As with many professions, there's a difference between a generalist and a specialist. So I fought 2 back-to-back specialists, and I showed, my athleticism I went through. I've never been outstruck in a UFC fight.
Have you enjoyed the overall process of fighting here in Liverpool? Would you perhaps like to fight on more European cards down the road?
For sure. I fell in love with the fighter's journey, and I try to encompass it, whether it's my training or my fighting. My last fight, I was in Australia for the better part of a month and a bit, and I'm really lucky because my family, they're very supportive, and they came out with me. So I went 2 weeks before, and then another 2 weeks after, and I saw the whole right side of Australia. This time I have an open ticket, and as I mentioned, the girlfriend and I, we're just gonna we're gonna see Manchester, London. We're gonna take a train out to France. I'm going to celebrate my 30th birthday in Paris and Versailles. Then go to Amsterdam for a bit, Belgium, and if we have enough time on the way back, Iceland to hop on the pond on the way home. Again, this is what I kind of love, the fighter's journey and just kind of traveling. Like I said, I'm very excited to be celebrating my 30th birthday in 3 days, and celebrating my 16th professional win.
Were you surprised that, about the volume in there? This was the first fight of the night, and the place seemed to be really full already. Did that surprise you?
Yes and no. Especially when you come out to new markets and somewhat quote-unquote smaller markets, people are obviously excited. This is the first time UFC's ever been to Liverpool. You have Darren Till at the top of the card. People are proud. People are excited, and it was really exciting to cheer. And I'm glad that we set the tone.
So the middleweight division is kind of hotter than ever, it seems, with so many rising stars. What and who's next for the main event?
Yeah, no, obviously I'm looking up. I'm in the top 15, and I just want to go up. I said it before, I kind of fancy myself the poor man's Machida, and I'd love to take on the real one.
Why would you like to take on Machida? Obviously, it's number 9, so a little bit of a step up for you.
First, a step up, but obviously you want to go up, not down.
Yeah, sure.
And, again, it's the case of essentially, you train hard enough, you compete long enough, and your idols eventually become your competition. He fought someone that was not ranked 2 fights ago, and it makes sense to fight someone that's at least ranked. He's calling out Bisping, who's may or may not be retired, and Bisping's a mate of mine, and he called him out, and I only want to have a beer with Bisping, so I'm happy to take his spot.
This is your first fight in this year. How many fights are you plan to go into in 2018?
Well, again, one of the things is I love being a fighter, but I also have a very busy schedule. I have a movie where I am the lead and a producer in. I play an MMA fighter, huge stretch, who gets injured, and I reinvent myself with competitive video games. We're in the process. It's called Last Hit, and we already have a director attached to it. He's an established director. His name's Gary Hawes. He's been the second assistant director to movies like Juno, Interstellar, all the new X-Men movies, all the Planets of the Apes. I think collectively $2 billion that he's been attached to. We have a script. We have the guy that put the script together. His name's Kyle Francis. He's real legit. He did all the what's her name, Kim Kardashian video games, and now he works for Ubisoft. And he's a legit writer, and the script's amazing. And we have a lot of already established, really established fight game competitors, because it's actually going to be the first fight game and movie ever. It's a comedy. And I think very much dodgeball meets gaming. And we're in the process of a very well-known gaming title, Street Fighter. But so nothing's established yet. But Last Hit is a working title. But so that one, if all goes well, we film in mid to late September or October. There's something called the Canadian Cup, which is one of the largest esports events in Canada. So that's where we're going to be putting it. And I think very much dodgeball. So there's going to be like commentators, etc., etc. It's really exciting. And one of the beautiful things being a producer on it, I get to learn, the back end and what it takes to put together a movie. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but I am the inaugural ring boy of Invicta. Trademark included, and I will be actually coming out with a calendar. I'm going to be approaching other MMA fighters. Basically, the calendar is going to be called Ring Boys of MMA, and who wouldn't love to see a Derek Lewis of July? That's right, an MMA big is beautiful.
You had 3 other of your TriStar teammates on this card. What's it been like in the run-up to this fight with them?
It's obviously very exciting. We all have a common purpose and goal. It's really exciting to, the atmosphere. TriStar and obviously the other gym I train at, Titans, and then back home it's rivals, Grant's rivals. But, you are the accumulation of those you surround yourself with, and luckily I surround myself with great people.
Brilliant, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.